dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Madison Pergram. The U.S. continues to report more COVID-19 cases and deaths than any other country. That's according to new numbers out today from Johns Hopkins University. This comes as the White House Coronavirus Task Force Coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, warns the U.S. is in a new phase of the pandemic. Meredith Wood has more.
A new phase in the fight against coronavirus. Dr. Deborah Birx offering a dire new view on America's battle against the pandemic.
What we're seeing today is different from March and April. It is extraordinarily widespread. It's into the rural as equal urban areas.
Dr. Birx's bleak outlook comes as the U.S. continues to report more cases and more deaths from coronavirus than any other country. According to the latest data from Johns Hopkins University, there are more than 4.6 million COVID-19 cases in the U.S., and more than 154,000 Americans have died from the virus. Meanwhile, a forecast published by the CDC projects the death toll could climb to 173,000 by August 22nd.
It's very frustrating as an epidemiologist to see these case numbers continuing to rise without a national strategy, without adequate testing, without contact tracing as we need it. All of the things that we've been talking about for months and months. And these numbers are going to continue to go up until we do have these things in place.
Dr. Birx says there are 20 states that she's watching very closely and that each state must tailor its response to mitigate cases.
It's not super spreading individuals, it's super spreading events, and we need to stop those. We definitely need to take more precautions.
I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
Now, Dr. Birx also stressed that we must follow health recommendations to slow the spread, including wearing a mask and practicing social distancing. And here in Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear provided updated COVID-19 numbers this afternoon. The governor announced 463 new cases of COVID-19. There are now 31,185 coronavirus cases in Kentucky. There were 2 new deaths today. The death toll stands at 742. For more information on COVID-19 in Kentucky, go to our website at WYMT.com. And we have learned of 4 cases of COVID-19 that have been found inside the recently reopened Lanesville School. Now, the Harrison County, Indiana school first announced a case yesterday, then 3 more today. They say the 3 new cases were in contact with the first case. At the same time, at least 18 students who were in contact with the first patient are being put into a 14-day quarantine, and another 30 students are expected to quarantine after the second round of cases was detected. The school will have online classes on Monday, then return to in-person on Tuesday. And organization leaders at With Love from Harlan say they are seeing an increase of people using the blessing boxes around Harlan County. WYMT's Dakota Makris met with the organization, explains the recent uptick.
A blessing box full of items like shampoo, cereal, and canned goods.
We normally have more increased visitation in the wintertime. When it's cold outside, people can't go outside, or they don't have transportation, so they can't walk to get where they need.
Ashley Bledsoe at With Love from Harlan says since April, the organization has seen an increase of need from the community.
People have been looking for more items to be able to make meals now since everybody's in together.
Bledsoe says as some grocery store shelves sit empty, people may have a difficult time finding canned goods.
There's no soup. Like, there's certain items they're not able to get. And so if you have the transportation to get there, but your store isn't stocked, then how are you supposed to fill your own pantry?
With Love from Harlan also serves weekend meals to the community, but some people may be scared to get those meals in fear of catching COVID-19, so they turn more to the blessing boxes.
We always wear masks and gloves and bag the meals so that there is no contamination.
Bledsoe says some people may use the blessing boxes because some may not want others to know they need help, and they welcome everyone.
We're not going to begrudge you a meal. Everybody deserves to be fed. That is one of the human needs that we have.
Serving the community by means of weekend meals or a blessing box.
We are humbled and blessed to be able to fill those needs.
Providing blessings to others. In Harlan County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, with Love from Harlan sponsors 18 blessing boxes. It also has 20 community-sponsored blessing boxes. And if you need to get in contact with the organization, you can do so on its Facebook page.
Well, a calm, quiet, and comfortable Sunday for most of us this afternoon. Things looking pretty good outside. Take a look outside our studio door. It's actually the most sunshine we've seen in a little bit outside of our doors here at WYMT. Go up to the National Weather Service out at Jackson. That is a great image. Just some of those fair weather cumulus clouds sitting at 77 degrees. That dew point in the middle 60s, even lower 60s, giving us those nice feels like temperatures even below 80, and most of us still there. 77 Jackson, 79 Hazard down to Harlan, down at close to Tennessee border, 81 Monticello, 82 as well over in Jacksboro. Take a look at the radar. Just a few puffy clouds. We had a couple showers try to make their way through here, but not a whole lot, and I expect that to continue as we go through the overnight hours. Our weather headlines, quiet and cool tonight, but storm chances are back to start next week, along with cooler temperatures. I'll have more on that in just a little bit. Madison?
Thank you, Evan. Well, the Veterans Club in Louisville recently came to the rescue following the death of a Korean War veteran. 90-year-old George Devine's belongings were at risk of being thrown away by his apartment complex. He didn't have any family to pack it up, so the Veterans Club cleaned out the apartment and donated anything that could be salvaged to neighbors in need.
I put out the call for help and we had a ton of responses. So people came out with trucks and dollies and straps and trash bags and gloves and masks, and we're all just in there trying to salvage what's good and pay him respect and honor after he passed.
A public service will be held for George Devine in Radcliffe on Wednesday. And a sign outside of a school in New Albany, Indiana is creating controversy in the community. Faith King has more.
Vicki Cox says she couldn't believe her eyes as she passed by Hazelwood Elementary School a few days ago.
I'm thinking, how can our teachers and the people on the Board of Education do that?
Black Lives Matter to Hazelwood Hawks is posted on the digital sign that stands on the front lawn of the school in big yellow letters.
All lives matter. Why can't we just put all lives matter and be one?
Cox is a former student of Hazelwood and grandmother of 2 students, and she says she wants those words removed.
I want that sign down. I don't want my grandkids going to that school and seeing that. And they're mixed. I still don't want them seeing it.
She says the 3 words are teaching students discrimination and racism, and she doesn't think it's fair to students who aren't black.
What do you think Black Lives Matter means? What do you think the movement is?
I understand what's going on with the cops and all that. There's bad everywhere, you know, and there's bad cops, and they've done some bad things, and they should be paid, or they should pay for it.
She says the movement is something kids shouldn't have to worry about, and she's hoping the school agrees. JCPS said Friday, our district is one of only a few in the country that has a racial equity policy and plan. It is our mission to reduce achievement and opportunity gaps by creating a system that celebrates diversity.
And I hope they start letting every one of them kids know that every one of them matter. Not to be prejudiced, not to see color.
Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has held up plenty of events, but at Pikeville authors, determination is not among them. Pike County resident Katie Coleman releasing the first installment in her children's book series, The Many Adventures of Gatlin. Entitled Mommy Gets a Job, it seeks to explain the moral reasoning behind a mother's responsibilities, something she hopes to accomplish with every title in the series.
I wanted every book to have like a moral and an underlying thing. So I figured, you know, kids always wonder, you know, I miss my mommy. Why do we have to go to work? So I thought I'll explain why we have to go to work and why we have to, make it, money.
Now, Coleman also says she hopes to have her second book out by the end of this month. You can find them on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target. Well, coming up on Mountain News Weekend Edition, find out what country could be in line to create a vaccination for the coronavirus.
And that quiet and comfortable evening is in progress in the mountains, but we're not done with the pop-up afternoon storms yet. Details in just a few minutes.